The moment I said those words, the entire office seemed to pause. My voice had come out lighter than air, just a joke, just a way to laugh off the nervousness of my birthday attention. But the way my boss, Ariana, looked at me, it felt like the room tilted. Her smile didn't flicker for even a second, and her eyes held something I had never noticed before. Something warm, something dangerous, something that made my heart slam against my ribs as she whispered back, "What if I say yes?" In that one moment, what was meant to be a harmless joke suddenly twisted into something I wasn't ready to feel. Something that had been buried inside me for far too long, waiting to surface. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected love stories, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support means the world. I never imagined that my life in an average office in Chicago, Illinois could change in the span of a single heartbeat. My name is Mark, and I had been working under Ariana for almost 2 years. She wasn't just a great manager. She was the kind of leader who remembered everyone's birthdays, who noticed when someone was struggling, and who always brought calm into chaos. I admired her. Everyone did. But admiration was safe. It stayed in its place behind professional boundaries. I never allowed myself to think beyond that because people like Ariana weren't meant for people like me. She was confident, composed, elegant. I was the guy who blended into the crowd, who rarely spoke unless necessary, who lived a simple, quiet life. That morning had started like any other, except for the paper crown my coworkers forced me to wear and the cake waiting on the break room table. The office was decorated with balloons and mismatched banners, because our team believed enthusiasm mattered more than aesthetics. I laughed along with them, blew out the candles, and tried to ignore how much attention made my stomach twist. Then Ariana stepped forward with a small, wrapped box, and the room brightened in a way lights could never achieve. She smiled, wished me happy birthday, and handed me the gift. I don't know why I said it. Maybe it was her smile. Maybe it was the warmth of the moment. Maybe it was the fact that I had secretly admired her for so long. But the joke slipped out before I could stop myself. "Will you marry me?" People laughed. Someone even clapped. I felt heat creep up my neck, ready to laugh it off too, until Ariana leaned forward, her voice low, gentle, and incredibly real. "What if I say yes?" It was like someone pulled all the sound out of the room. My breath hitched, and even though she laughed afterwards, something in her expression stayed with me. Something unspoken. The rest of the day moved strangely. I tried to bury the awkwardness under workload, but my mind kept replaying that moment again and again. Ariana kept stealing small glances at me. Or maybe I imagined it. Yet each time our eyes met, something fluttered inside my chest. By the end of the day, the joke felt less like humor and more like a confession I never meant to make. A week passed. A week of stolen glances, quiet smiles, and an undeniable tension neither of us dared address. Then came the moment everything changed. I was leaving late one evening when Ariana caught up with me in the hallway. Her voice was softer than usual, almost hesitant, and that alone startled me. She asked if we could talk for a minute. We stepped into the empty conference room, the city lights shimmering through the glass walls, painting golden reflections across her face. She told me the joke had stayed with her. She told me she had been thinking about it more than she should. She told me she wasn't supposed to feel anything toward a team member, yet she couldn't deny that something had shifted inside her too. My heart felt too full, too terrified, too hopeful. And in that moment, I understood something simple but life-changing. Sometimes the most unexpected feelings are the ones that were waiting to be acknowledged all along. We decided to step carefully, to take things slow, to respect boundaries while exploring whatever this was. But life isn't neat. Life doesn't wait. A rumor spread within a month. Someone saw us leaving the building together too late. Someone whispered something careless. Suddenly, our simple, fragile connection felt like it was collapsing under the weight of judgment. Ariana was called into a meeting with upper management. They questioned her objectivity, her professionalism, her decisions. She defended herself, defended me, defended what we were trying to build, but she was shaken. I saw it in her eyes when she walked out of that conference room. The exhaustion of fighting for something that hadn't even been given a chance. That night, I almost told her we should stop. Not because my feelings had changed, but because I didn't want to be the reason her career suffered. But Ariana looked at me with a strength that made every fear inside me quiet down. She said some things were worth fighting for. She said she didn't want to lose something beautiful before it even began. And that was the moment I realized that love, real love, asks for courage, not convenience. Weeks turned into months, and slowly the noise died down. Our team adjusted, the office moved on, and what remained was something honest, steady, and deeply heartfelt between us. We weren't perfect, but we were trying. We were learning. We were building something quietly powerful. So on a rainy evening in early spring, I found myself standing outside Ariana's apartment with a small ring box in my pocket. Not a joke this time. Not a slip of nervous humor, but a choice made with every beat of my heart. She opened the door, surprised to see me drenched, and before she could say a word, I told her the truth. I told her that on my birthday I joked because I never believed someone like her could ever say yes. I told her how that moment changed everything, how she changed everything, how love found me when I wasn't even looking. She didn't let me finish. She pulled me into her arms, tears in her eyes, and whispered the same words she had spoken that day in the office, except this time they held no laughter, only emotion. What if I say yes? If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps these stories reach more people. Before the ending, here's a special request. Comment below whether you believe unexpected love can become true love. And in that quiet, rain-soaked moment, as she said yes for real, I understood something beautiful. Sometimes life gives us exactly what we're afraid to dream about. And when it does, all we have to do is say yes back.